Welcome to e-lecture series conducted under Gyandoot program, an initiative of Department of College Education, Government of Rajasthan. Let's continue with our discussion on the famous play Loyalties, written by an eminent writer of early 20th century, John Galsworthy. In the previous session, we had a brief introduction with the playwright John Galsworthy, with the play in journal, along with the characters of this play. In this session, we will talk about the plot, theme, and the title of the play. So let's continue. This play, as we have already discussed in the previous session, was written in 1922, and it's a drama in 3 acts. As far as the theme of this play is concerned, as a play of ideas, as a problem play, it deals with the issue of loyalties and racial discrimination. And with 20 realistically drawn characters, Galsworthy has presented the problem of clash of loyalties and prejudices. And we have introduction with this very theme of the play and also the roles of the characters in the previous session. So now let's discuss in detail about how the story moves through the 3 acts of the play, or how this theme of the clash of loyalties is presented by Galsworthy in this drama in 3 acts. The Act 1 of the play is set at Meldon Court, a country house which is situated near Newmarket, a place which is famous for horse racing. And this house, country house Meldon Court, is owned by Sir Charles Windsor and his wife, Lady Adela. And this act is divided into 2 scenes. The first scene, or the opening scene, is set at Sir Charles Windsor's bedroom, and it begins with a conversation between Windsor and his wife Adela. And through this opening dialogue between Windsor couples, we come to know about 2 important characters of the play who are staying as guests at Meldon Court. And these 2 persons are, one is Ferdinand D. Lewis, a Jewish merchant, and the another one is Captain Dempsey, an army officer. And this is the first part of this opening scene where this dialogue goes on, and we come to know about these 2 characters. And in the second part of the scene, what happens, that Ferdinand D. Lewis appears in the scene, and he informs Sir Windsor that someone has stolen his money, which is about 1,000 pound, and the exact amount is 970 pounds. And he also tells Mr. Windsor that he has made that money by selling a mare named Rosemary Filly, which was given to him by Ronald Dempsey, because Ronald Dempsey was passing through some financial crisis, and he was not capable of taking care of that mare. So he has given that mare to Ferdinand D. Lewis. And now Ferdinand D. Lewis, using his business skills, has sold that mare to Cantman the bookie for that 970 pounds. And now Dempsey, D. Lewis, that Jew, he feels that this money might have been stolen by Captain Dempsey, because he feels that this Dempsey bears grudges against him, as he has made money, or he has done a very beneficial mercenary transaction by selling that very mare which he has given him in free. So this is how in the second part of the scene we come to know about a theft, and this theft is the key event or key episode of this play. Now what happens? Now all the people, other guests along with Dempsey and D. Lewis, who were staying over there, they come to Windsor and his wife. And now D. Lewis insists Mr. Charles Windsor to call the police, But Windsor is not in favor of reporting the police because he feels that it will not be good for his social prestige. But ultimately, after his insistence, the police is called, and all the people who are staying there, Sir Canning, the society girl, Margaret Orme, Captain Dempsey, and his wife Mabel Dempsey, they are all there, and the police is called, and this scene 1 of the act 1 closes with the appearance of police inspector Dade at Meldon Court. Now the scene shifts, or the act play shifts to the bedroom of D. Lewis from Windsor's room. Here, the scene begins with investigation by Inspector Deed, and when Inspector Deed was just taking care of the whole matter, at that time, D. Lewis expresses his suspicion about Dempsey to Lord Canning, who was also staying there as a guest. Now, the Windsor and Canning, they are not ready at all to believe or, or to approve D. Lewis' suspicion of Dempsey. And this scene 2 of the play, closes with Ferdinand D. Lewis standing alone in his room, because now police officer has also left after performing his all formalities regarding investigation. Now let's talk about the very importance of the action which has taken place in these two scenes in the progression of the plot, or in the structuring of the plot. We can say this act 1 sets the tone of the play, because we come to know about the chief characters. We come to know about an important event, that a theft has taken place, and the characters who are considered to be directly connected with this very theft are introduced in this very scene. And this scene, through that event of the reference to that very theft, this act 1 of the play introduces the key episode, and it also introduces the major characters. 8 characters out of the 20 characters of the play are introduced in this play. We meet Sir Charles Windsor and Lady Adela, who are the owners of the Meldon Court. We come to know about the guests who are staying over there. One is Captain Dempsey, another is Ferdinand D. Lewis, then Canning is there, then Margaret Orme, the society girl, is there, and then Captain Dempsey's wife, Mabel Dempsey, is also introduced. Inspector Deed is also there. So this is how this act 1 of the play sets the tone of the play, or introduces the theme and the characters of the play. Now what happens in the act 2 of the play? Act 2 is set in the city of London, and it is also divided into 2 scenes. The scene 1 is set at the card room of a club, the city club, and this scene takes place almost 3 weeks after that event of theft which has taken place in the act 1. And now this opening scene 1 of the act 2 opens with a discussion between the members of the club, and they talk, and from their dialogue, from their conversation, we come to know about the rejection of D. Lewis' application for the membership of the London Club. Now what is that? That almost all the members of the London Club, they are the Christians, and Sir Ferdinand de Lewis is a Jew merchant. And in the previous act, in the very opening conversation between Charles Windsor and his wife Adela, we are introduced with this very fact that the racial prejudice was prevalent in contemporary England, that the Christians were not not quite liberal towards the Jews, and now that Jew is just now is a prosperous merchant, and now he is ambitious enough to get the membership of the London Club. But what happens, because in the previous act, this Ferdinand de Lewis has suspected, has accused a Christian, an honorable member of the club, as a thief. So now, as a result, all the Christian members of the play of that very club, they are not willing to accept or approve de Lewis' application of membership. So this shows that how that very theft has created uh, a space for some conflict, some clash between the people of two religious groups. Now, after the rejection of his application for membership, what happens in this scene 1? De Lewis publicly accuses Dancy. In the Act 1, he has accused Dancy only in the presence of 2-3 members who were there staying at the Meldon Court. But now he has publicly accused him. And this very information is given to the people who were in the card room by a friend of Dancy, Colonel Colford. And now Captain Dancy also appears in the scene, and when he is also informed about the public accusation by D. Lewis, and then an honorable member of the club, Saint Earth, he suggests Dancy to go to the court for causing such a defame for him against D. Lewis. But D. Lewis is is not willing to go to the court. So this response of Dancy causes some mystery, that D. Lewis is so sure that Dancy has stolen the money. And now at the same time, in the next scene, what happens when that all the Christian fellows, they want Dancy to go to the court against D. Lewis, but Dancy is not so willing. So a sort of mystery, a sort of suspense is created in the opening scene of the Act 2. So the next scene, or the scene 2 of this act, is set in the Dancy's flat. So up from that card room, Dancy goes back to his home, and he tells his wife about that now Ferdinand de Lewis has publicly accused him. So just to save himself from any public fame, he proposes that both of them must escape to Nairobi. But his wife Mabel, she is not willing to do so. She sends him to consult Jacob Twiston, a famous lawyer, to settle the whole matter. And meanwhile, D. Lewis visits Dancy's place. And then Mabel Dancy requests him to not to accuse Dancy, but he is not ready at all. So this is how the action of the play moves in the Act 2, or we can say the key episode of the Act 1 was the theft, and the key episode of the Act 2 is the public accusation against Dancy, De Lewis' public accusation of Dancy, and how what happens when he publicly accused Dancy. Now the Christian members of the club reacted, how his wife reacted, and how a meeting between D. Lewis and Dancy has took place, and where D. Lewis is not ready at all to take back his accusation against Dancy. So this is how a sort of suspense is also created in this very act, in the mysterious response of Dancy when all the members of the club advise him to go to the court against De Lewis. And so with the Act 2, what happens? The incident of the theft assumes a racial complexion, because all the members of the London Club, who are the Christians, Saint Earth, Canning, Charles Spencer, Major Colford, they all want to punish D. Lewis for charging a fellow member of the club or the Christian member of the club with stealing money. And um, their wish or to punish D. Lewis is expressed through the rejection of D. Lewis' application for the membership of the club. And through the clash or conflict between these sets of characters, this act closes with a clear statement about the theme of the play, that is clash of loyalties, the religious loyalties of the Christians on one hand and the Jews on the another hand. And the other important thing about this act is that two more important characters of the play are introduced in this act. Major Colford, he is a close friend of Captain Dancy, and another is Jacob Twisden, the barrister, the lawyer. And now let's see what happens in the Act 3. With the Act 3, the plot of the play reaches its climax and it is divided into 3 scenes. The first scene opens with the appearance of a grocer named Gilman, and he comes to Jacob Twiston, the barrister's office, with a wine merchant, Italian wine merchant whose name is Riccardo's. And he shows Twisden 2 notes which were relevant to that case of theft against Dancy. And when Twisden talks with Ricardos and Gilman, then he comes to know about the love affair, Captain Dancy's love affair with his daughter. And then Ricardos, just out of his parental loyalty or his parental affection, asks Dancy to provide money for his daughter, because now he has got married to some other lady, that is Mabel Dancy. And as Dancy is passing through financial crisis, so to give money to Ricardo's, he steals that money from the Levis room. So this is how the total reversal of situation takes place. That earlier, most of the people in the character were in this impression that Dancy is accused just out of racial prejudice on the part of that Jew merchant. Now the scene shifts to the next day, and the second scene is in the same office of Twisden. Now Twisden calls Dancy and he talks about in detail that how now that mystery is open, that Dancy has stolen the money, and now in this very scene too, Dancy's wife Mabel Dancy also comes to Twisden. Then after talking to her, Twisden suggests that Dancy should now leave for Morocco, but at the same time he decides to inform about this reversal of situation to the higher authorities of the club, because he thinks that it is honor to his profession as a barrister. So it shows his professional loyalty. Now the third scene um, uh, is shifted to Dancy's flat. Dancy now tells her wife everything in detail. So Dancy's confession to Mabel is the main event of the scene third. And meanwhile, police inspector comes with an arrest warrant. Then Dancy asks his wife that she should request inspector to wait for a while. And meanwhile, what happens? Dancy leaves the sitting room and he goes to his bedroom and he shoots himself. And that noise of the shoot disturbs everyone who was present here, shocks everyone who was present there, because when during this very time that Major Colford and Margaret Army, they have also reached there at Dancy's place. So after listening that sound of the shoot, Major Colford and Mabel Dancy, they rush to Dancy's bedroom, and then they find that Dancy is dead. So this play ends at a tragic note that how the prejudices, how the clash of loyalties has just um, met with the tragic end. So in this third act of the play, we see that the mystery of theft is solved with a total reversal of situation. Dancy's accusation is proved, and the end is the tragic end of Dancy. And moreover, this act also shows the professional loyalty of Police Inspector and Twisden. As this play is all about loyalties, so the professional loyalty is presented through these two characters. Um, and uh, and one more thing, that this play talks about racial prejudice, but this is not an anti-Jew play. This very theme is presented through D. Lewis, because towards the end of the play, when D. Lewis comes to know that Dancy's accusation is proven, then he visits Dancy and Twisden's office, and he says that he is ready to leave his claim to get the money back. He is not interested for any punishment to Dancy. His only point was to prove that his accusation was not wrong. His accusation was correct. Now he has proven right. So he is ready to leave any claim to get the stolen money back. So this is how D. Lewis is presented as a compassionate Jew. So we can't say that Galsworthy has written an anti-Jew play. So through the analysis of the action which has taken place in the three acts of the play, now we have a clear idea that this play deals with the theme of loyalty, because almost every character of the play is loyal to a person, to a set of ideals. For example, Charles Windsor shows his loyalty towards tradition and gentlemanly hospitality. Dancy is loyal towards the manly and daredevil military life through his love for adventure. D. Lewis is loyal for his Jewish national pride. Mabel for her wifely loyalty. Then Major Golfred and Margaret Orme, they show their loyalty towards ideals of friendship because they stand with their friend Dancy. Then Canning, he is also loyal towards fine traditions of British Army. Then the police inspector and that lawyer Jacob Twisden, they show the professional loyalties. So every character is loyal to some or the other thing. This is the one part of the picture. The another important part, or where the action of the play gets strength, is that all these loyalties are shown at a clash. And here I would like to quote Herman Old, who said that it is only when the play is over and one looks back on it that the true theme, loyalty, and more properly, the inadequacy of loyalty is made clear. That inadequacy of loyalty means that one's loyalty is against another's loyalty, as it is made clear in a dialogue by Margaret Orme to Mabel in the Act 2 and Scene 2 of the play. She says, I quote, loyalties cut up against each other sometime. So this clash of loyalties is the major concern of this play. And the one more thing, through this clash of loyalties, John Galsworthy has also presented that how narrow loyalties harm the social fabric. This is the narrow loyalty of the people or the members of the London Club that who were supporting Dancy when he was the real accused. The play also presents theme of appearance versus reality, as we have seen that Captain Dancy maintains his status despite his financial setbacks through elaborate deceptions. And at the same time, D. Lewis although he is certain that Dancy has took his money, but the people of Dancy's group, they think that he is behaving in a very unfair way in pursuing justice for the wrong cause. And when it is clear and the mystery is opened that D. Lewis has not only lied, Dempsey has not only lied about the theft, but he was engaged in many other fabrications, because like he was in an extramarital affair. Then society turns against him. So this is how, through the character of Dempsey, the theme of appearance versus reality is also presented. And the third important theme is that of racial discrimination, that how the portrayal of situation in this play, which project racial prejudices and false senses of ego, move the character in the play. The Jews are discriminated against, that even De Lewis's application to gain the membership of the club is also rejected, as we have seen in the Act 2 of the play. But the theme of racial discrimination is addressed, but this is not a anti-Jew play, as I have already discussed. Here even there are many characters, although they favor Dancy, the Christian man, but still they like Jews. They have respect for Jews. For example, in the Act 2, Scene 2, Lady Adela tells Margaret Orme about her grandmother, who was a Jewess, and she says that I am proud of her. So this is how the theme of racial discrimination is also presented in this play. But I would like to repeat that this is not an anti-Jewish play. Now, on the basis of the analysis of the plot, or on the basis of the discussion on the theme of the play, now we have a very clear idea that this play, or all the events or the characters of this play move around the concept of loyalties. So the title Loyalties seems to be very apt, because it introduces the theme, it reflects the key idea of the author, and this is the main concept of loyalty is the main theme. And as we have already discussed, that almost each and every character has a different person or concept to which he or she is. And towards the end, I would like to say that Loyalties is no doubt one of John Galsworthy's masterpieces, with its well-knit play plot, and it's a realist play, and through the ironic contrast, the action is presented, and all the characters are also realistically drawn, although all of them they represent a particular societal force, but they are not types. They have their own individuality. And the one more important thing, that the characters of John Galsworthy, they are so realistic that we can't divide them into two categories, that these are the heroes or these are the villains. They represent one or the other social tendency or the social force. And another important aspect of the play which adds to its um, technical excellence is the dialogue, the brevity, the conciseness, irony, wit, and humor adds beauty to this play as a technical piece. And so to conclude, I would like to say that the play stands firmly on its feet as a drama, rather thrilling, vivid, and at times moving, as Herman Old, a contemporary of John Galsworthy, has observed. So, in this very moving play, John Galsworthy has quite realistically addressed or handled the theme of the clash of loyalties and racial discrimination through the characters, who are not only the types, although they represent some or the other social force, but still they have their own individuality. So with these realistically drawn characters through 3 acts, John Galsworthy has very smartly or we can say in a very naturalistic way and very effectively handled the theme or presented the problem of clash of loyalties in this play. So keep reading, keep exploring more about this great storyteller John Galsworthy, and do read this play in detail to have more deep understanding of the theme and the characterization of this play. Thank you.